Good evening. Eagles play for the NFC East Championship. Philadelphia prepares for Mother's Day. Obama gets set to roll. Obamacare, that is, if he does. Party is over for the Teabaggers. Eagles set to kick Cowboys' ass. Gotta mention that twice. The MMA goes broke. Legs, that is. Smarmies does a 2013 wrap-up, and Tony Viejo gives us a look ahead at 2014. These stories and more on the year-end wrap-up of the iOS News' Sunday paper program.
It's the I'm Only Serious News Network with Dan Mahan, John Smarmy, Tony Viejo, and Darren Martinez.
In national news, someone got Detroit for Christmas and had to return it because it's broke. That's right. The two popes have gotten together again over a Christmas meal. Pope Benedict, the backstabber, and of course Pope Francis. We'll see what 2014 brings, but folks, I think the apocalypse is near. Is very near. Meanwhile, a teacher in Albuquerque, New Mexico high school was placed on paid leave after she reprimanded a black student who was wearing a Santa outfit to school by telling him, "Don't you know Santa's white?" Cracker, please. Who don't? Speaking of a-holes, convicted Monsignor William Lynn has had his conviction for facilitating child sexual abuse overturned recently because the law didn't apply during the time that he was the supervisor of the priests. As if he knew about it, right? Yeah. Liars, cheaters, and molesters, better known for the Archdiocese hierarchy, have not decided whether to allow the Nazi to return to work yet. Yeah, and you all have cornholes. In Florida, hats off to the police of Melbourne, Florida, who handed out lottery tickets, scratch-off tickets, instead of real tickets for speeding and other violations during the Christmas day. Up to 30 motorists were involved in getting these free tickets and a warning. The officers actually bought the tickets with their own money. The problem was that hours later, several more of the same motorists were caught speeding again, just trying to get another ticket. Come on now. Come on, fellas. Well, this year in review, folks, from my perspective, we had a lot of things going on. Of course, most recently was the loss of Nelson Mandela, one of the world's great leaders. And it was a shame to see him go out with some clown behind the president, making sign language that nobody understood. Yeah. And it turned out the guy was a murderer, too. Only recently was, a few months back, beat his conviction because he was already legally insane. There you go. What else do we have going? Oh, Chinese on the moon. Yeah, you imagine that? A chink on the moon's surface. They say if we get the right telescope, you can see it from here. There goes the smile. Meanwhile, our own space station floating around the Earth had to be set up for repairs this year, which was completed. Hats off to our brave men out there in the midst of space. What else do we have? Al Jazeera, the Arabic news channel, launched its own channel here in America this year. And anybody who's been caught watching it is now on the NSA watch list. There you go. Ratings are down. Ratings are down. Locally, we had our Mayor Nutter Butter traveling the world, trying to find new jobs for our economy. What for? We had a bunch of stupid kids with no teachers in the schools, you hammerhead. How about we hire a few more teachers this year, get our school systems back in order, cut down on the crime, and get our city really moving forward, Mr. Nutter Butter. What else do we have? Again, school shootings this year. Unfortunately, we had the major school shooting back in April up there in New Hampshire, and a couple more ever since then. Some people have talked about maybe hiring our ex-soldiers who come back for security at these schools. Didn't you ever hear of PTSD? My God. What do you think's going to happen when the recess bell rings and them kids go running out? Now, I think, folks, what we need to do is bring back the nuns. Bring back the nuns. They didn't need weapons. They had God. They had God on their side. What else did we have going on? Oh, we found out this year, folks, that there's a new flu bug out there. Yeah, most of you can't catch it, even if you stood outside naked in the winter. Because it's the afflu, as in affluenza. It means when you live in a lifestyle that's much higher than the rest of America, you're in that 1% stage, and the laws don't apply to you. So, good luck catching it. Buy your lottery tickets today. Next, folks, we have our very own John Smarmy up with us, who's going to give us his year in review and what he thought about 2013. Smarmy?
Thanks, Dan. It's been a pleasure this year. Not really. I'm just kidding. 2013, let's talk about it. Paul Walker was too fast and just a little bit too furious. Too soon. Yeah. Miley Cyrus stayed on top on the music charts all year for shitty music. It proves kids who are Disney stars are mentally damaged, caged animals, and they always end up in rehab, jail, or like that light-skinned black guy who was a Disney star, committing suicide. Don't be a Disney star. It's the worst thing you kids can do. Stay in school. Go to college. Listen to Smart. He's a smart guy. Top of my class out of 2 people. The Breaking Bad series ended this year. The greatest show ever made about crystal meth. Well, if you don't count the Whitney Houston reality series. That's a lot. The series Dexter also ended this year. And it was the worst series finale ever, in my opinion. Why make a good show, build it up, and then make a terrible season finale? It's like they fucked us, but we didn't come. I sure didn't. In 2013, the I'm Only Serious News Network debuted. 19 episodes include this one, and it proves just about anybody can have an opinion on the internet. But keep watching because we're smart, we're quick, we're entertaining. And why not root for the little guys? And I can go on and on about this year, but I really didn't like this year. I really didn't care for it. Every year it's the same thing to me. Just different crap. Dan, what else is on the show tonight? Because in 2013, that's it.
Thanks, Smarmy. And thanks for your review. In sports, folks, the Eagles are facing off with the Dallas Cowgirls for the NFC East Championship tonight. Right after this broadcast, by the way. That's why I'm done up as I am. The Eagles enter the game, needing a win to make it in the playoffs. A win they're in, a loss and they go home. But mark these words. Come our first broadcast of 2014, we'll be talking about the Eagles' first playoff victory. There you go. The Fly Guys continue to keep around the 500 level. They had a good win last night. Captain Claude Giroux has finally started to be able to mend both his leadership abilities and his play skills together to become the player that we expect him to be at the start of the season when the paychecks start to flow. And in the 666ers news, well, who gives a damn about them? You know what I'm saying, Smarmy? Cracker, please. Yeah, they're still affiliated with the Jersey Devils, so until they sell that portion of their empire, they're not involved in our sports. The Wings have also started their season off with a 17-13 victory. When they first came into the league some years back, I think it's been, 20 years now, 10? They were perennial champions. So we're looking forward to another good season from the Philadelphia Wings. And the Philadelphia Soul, I don't even know when the fuck they start, to tell you the truth. But we love Ron Jaworski, that's for sure. Now, I don't know about you folks, but every now and then I'll catch one of them MMA bouts, and ooh, talk about a chilly result. Let's hear it from our very own, though, MMA reporter, Tony Viejo. Tony?
Yeah. Thanks, Dan. I have to report on a man getting his shin shattered by a basic leg check. That's, Chris Weidman checked Anderson Silva's leg and shattered his shin bone. And Anderson Silva's going to be out for 6 to 8 months. And Chris Weidman is still the middleweight champion. Now, Dan, a lot of people have a problem with this of Chris Weidman still being the middleweight champion because they believe that he hasn't beaten Anderson Silva yet. The first time they fought, Anderson Silva was clowning around the ring, bobbing his head around, acting like a fool, and Chris Weidman caught him. So Chris Weidman hit him in the face with his hand, knocked him down, went in, hit 2 more hits, found out he was knocked out, and was given the belt. Most fans didn't see that as him winning.
What?
Now, Anderson Silva kicks him, breaks his leg on the kick, retains the title. Fans are still like, no, you didn't win. I don't know what's going to please these guys.
Can't help it if Silva's a pussy and don't finish the fight with a broken leg. Please.
Come on, this is mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you would have had one leg.
Yeah.
But no, in a more serious matter, I hope Anderson Silva does have a speedy recovery. However, him being 38 years old, with the timetable of 6 to 8 months, he's going to come back at 39, maybe 40. He might take some time off, to train. So, what kind of shape is he going to be in? Is he going to be able to get back to the middleweight crown? What's going to be left for him in the octagon to do? Personally, he was the most dominant champion that the UFC's ever had. He went, I think, 5 years undefeated almost.
Wow.
So let's not just think about what happened, where he's going to be. Let's just remember that he was one of the greatest in the sport, and his legacy will reflect that. No problem whatsoever.
No pun intended. With the legacy.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Speaking of legacies, this legacy is building, my friends. The Ronda Rousey legacy. She fought Miesha Tate for a second time last night, and she won by armbar. Yes, in the third round with 58 seconds left, she was able to achieve the armbar on Miesha Tate. Now, a lot of people are fans of professional wrestling, and you would wait for Hulk Hogan to do the leg drop, or the Ultimate Warrior do the military press, or Stone Cold Steve Austin do the stunner, and everyone would cheer.
Yeah.
With Ronda Rousey, this is what happens. You watch a Ronda Rousey MMA fight, you're waiting for the armbar. You're waiting for the judo throw, you're waiting for the armbar, and it's going to happen. Because, let's face it, she's now 9-0 in MMA, and it's all by armbar. Every win is by armbar. That's the only way she wins, is by armbar. It's a beautiful thing. And let's face it, women's MMA is pretty nice to watch. However, I do feel bad, because watching it in a public setting last night, all the other people were doing that were casual MMA fans were just making crude, obscene comments about how they should just start, going to a north-south position. Except they didn't call it that. But that's what, you people that know grappling know what I'm talking about now. So, how they need to just make out and do this. Look, that was probably one of the best fights last night was the Ronda Rousey-Miesha Tate fight. And a bunch of assholes don't get it. It's going to happen. Women's MMA is going to be a thing. In fact, the UFC actually added 2 new weight classes to the women's division, too. Also, with that being said, last night, Josh Barnett, Travis Browning. I was under the impression Josh Barnett was going to walk through this man. Boy, was I wrong. Travis Browning managed to knock out Josh Barnett and give him a pretty nasty gash on the back of his head. I hope the War Master can come back from that. Again, he's 34 years old. He's on the tail end of his career. He is one of the most dominant heavyweights in MMA history, though. He beat Randy Couture for the title way back when. Left the UFC due to some steroid allegations, and traveled the world and fought in other different fight companies, and even shut down a fight company when he was tested positive for steroids once again when facing off against Fedor Emelianenko for Affliction 13. The company folded the day before the fight happened. So yeah, he did that. But he's one of my favorite fighters, great grappler, great submissions artist, and even when he's off the juice, he's still amazing and still destroys people. Look what he did to Frank Mir a few months back. Gave him a facelift with his knee. It's beautiful. But Travis Browning will now be facing off against Fabricio Verdum because Cain Velasquez is going to be out for most of 2014 with, I believe, a knee injury. And one more thing about last night's fight. Chris Lieben fought against Uriah Hall from the Tiger Schulman's karate family. Yeah, one of those guys. And Uriah Hall made Chris Lieben, and for you MMA fans out there know, Chris Lieben is hard to stop. He comes at you. He has a granite chin. He looks like Frankenstein in the octagon coming after you, but the guy does not stop. Well, Chris Lieben decided after the first round, in between rounds, he had enough. He was done. He threw in the towel. He was like, no, I'm good. Uriah Hall's a force to be reckoned with. He's coming, and he's going to be destroying people for a long time. Now, as I mentioned before, this past year in MMA, we've had some great things happen. Cain Velasquez submitted the fact that he is the heavyweight champion by defeating Junior Dos Santos. However, he was injured in that fight and is going to be out for most of 2014. George St. Pierre had 2 great fights, had a few great fights this year, and vacated his title. Anderson Silva lost the belt twice. Lost the belt once and lost the rematch, and he's out for 6 to 8 months. Chris Weidman's still healthy and will be facing off against Vitor Belfort as soon as Dana White can get that match written and ready to go. Oh, excuse me. Ronda Rousey, women's...
I'll edit that.
Yeah. Alright.
Drink.
No, I'm good. Ronda Rousey, women's MMA champion. Women's MMA came to the UFC this year, and it's been a beautiful thing. She's been very dominant as well. John Jones still a dominant force to be reckoned with. Don't know what's going on in the light heavyweight division. Who's going to be facing off with him next? I do know Rashad Evans is facing off against Daniel Cormier in the next coming months, and that's going to be amazing. All in all, MMA has been fantastic this year. And it's just going to get better, folks. Stay tuned. And you never know what's going to happen. I didn't know someone was going to break their leg off of a freaking roundhouse kick last night and not win the UFC title. But my bookie doesn't take that as a legitimate excuse, so I might not be here in the future. But we'll get back to more important things next time around. Dan, I hope you've had a good 2013.
Thanks, Tony. You too. Thanks, Tony. In entertainment news, the Eagles are going to be kicking the Cowgirls' ass tonight, in case you haven't been hearing it on this broadcast yet. And we also have a year review coming from our very own Darren Martinez, as he gives his year in review in film. Darren?
All right, so 2013, I was disappointed. Not as many as good films in 2012. I thought there were better films. We had Avengers 2012. We had The Raid in 2012. We had Dark Knight Rises in 2012.
Yeah, couple
This year,
blockbusters, yeah.
yeah, really good ones. This year we had, instead of Avengers, we had Iron Man 3, which disappointed a lot of people. I enjoyed it. You know, it was fun. It was a fun ride, and it ended up making the most amount of money this year. I think it's at like $1.3 billion or something like that. Maybe 1.4. Who knows? But the raid, the first one was really good. And this year we didn't have a film like The Raid. We didn't have a high octane, fast-paced, fun action, beat 'em up, kung fu kind of shoot 'em up film. We didn't have anything like that. But we will have The Raid 2 next year. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, how about The Hobbit, wasn't it?
The Hobbit was fun, but it wasn't. It was misleading. I felt like it was misleading, just because it's the smallest book and it's taken forever to get through it. Now there's another film coming out.
Yeah.
At the end of the last one, you thought they were ready to kill the dragon. No, they're not ready. We're not ready. But last year we had Dark Knight Rises, like I said, and this year we had Superman, Man of Steel, and it's no Dark Knight Rises.
Nah.
No. Not on the same level.
Now, who was the
Completely
villain in it?
Michael Shannon. Yeah.
What did he play?
Michael Shannon. That's what he was. He wasn't. He was Michael Shannon the whole time. Anyway, so this year we had Iron Man 3, which was it made the most amount of money. And now the second film I want to talk about is Out of the Furnace, which I thought was probably the best film of the year. Best acting, best writing. It was one of those films that keep you on the edge of your seat. You want to keep following it.
I didn't even really hear that one.
It's really good, starring Christian Bale, Woody Harrelson's in it, and a couple of other celebrities make some cameos. Really good. Check it out when it comes out on home video eventually. So that's it. This year.
12 Days a Slave didn't make the list?
Well, yeah, I have no desire to see that film. But next
A
year,
lot of action in it.
I'm looking forward to The Raid Part 2.
The Raid Part 2.
More than anything else.
Oh, yeah?
Forget X-Men, forget anything. Forget Captain America. The Raid 2, that's the film to see, guys. Dan?
2014. Thank you, Darren. And finally, folks, for our final edition of Tony Viejo's Mindless Thoughts, we have a year of mindless thoughts. Tony?
Thanks, Dan. Well, it's been a great year, 2013, hasn't it? Some people have died, some people have been born, other things stayed the same. The important thing that I want you to take away from this year is, did you do what you wanted to do? Did you become what you wanted to be? Did you achieve the goals you set forth at the beginning of the year, like everyone else did? Or were you like me and waited till June to take things seriously and then got things on track with the year, with the hopes of making 2014 a better year? So I'm just going to have this little advice for you. Make 2014 your year. You want to do something, go out and do it. You want to be a guitar player? Pick up a guitar. Learn how to play guitar. You want to start writing? Start fucking writing. You want to do comedy? Get on the stage. Tell some jokes. You want to do something? Go out there and do it. It's not going to hurt you. Unless you're going to go rock climbing, then go to an indoor rock place, go up a few times, get some practice sessions, and then go rock climbing. If you want to step into a cage and get your shin blown apart like Anderson Silva, by all means, find a gym. Go there. Do that. It's going to suck. I'm telling you. It's going to hurt. But the most important thing about this year is the mid-season finale. The fuck is a mid-season finale? Shit shows should not have mid-season finales. Just finish the goddamn show. Why do I have to wait till February to watch The Walking Dead? I had to wait this whole time, starting October. Oh, we're going to do 10 episodes, and then we're going to put it on hiatus so we can play Christmas movies and then bring it back in February. Same thing, and every channel does this now. Every network takes 4 to 5 weeks off for their shows so that they can have their holiday specials. When I was a kid, you had a holiday episode of The Walking Dead. I mean, there would have been zombies and Santa hats walking around. They would have had a crisis, and at the end of the episode, the zombies and the humans would exchange gifts. That's what happened. Heathcliff and Garfield got together. Otis and Garfield got together. They had holiday episodes for shit. Star Wars had a holiday episode. It was tragic. Chewbacca looked like crap. I don't know what the hell I'm going with this. All I know is, you people out there in Hollywood land, you do not have to do the mid-season finale. Add another 4 episodes in. It's not going to hurt us. We're still going to watch it. But don't make us wait. Because now I'm losing interest and I forget what happened. And now I'm going to take off 3 days of work to catch up on the whole goddamn season before it comes back on television. But make 2014 your year, because you can't count on TV anymore. You're the only person that can save yourself and entertain yourself. But you can find fine quality programming on the internet like this. And we're going to continue to do that through the next year. Next year, we're going to have special effects. That's right, special effects. BAM!
And thanks, Tony. And don't worry, folks. He'll be back after his mid-season hiatus. You know. Yeah, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Well, I hope you enjoyed our experiment into getting the news out to you in our own little way this past year. 2014, we're looking forward to doing some rearrangements, getting our solid staff together, and putting on some quality TV news programming for you. Thanks for the year and watching, and we look forward to seeing you all next year at the iOS News Network Sunday Paper program. For Darren, for Tony, for Smarmy, and for myself, thank you again for watching. See you in 2014. Go Eagles!